How to live a miserable life. If you are someone who wants to make sure that they live with absolutely no meaning and purpose, that contributes nothing to society on their brief stint on earth, and if you basically just want to be waiting around until your life calendar eventually runs out and be as miserable as possible in the process, then here are the steps to follow to achieve that. A word of caution, this level of misery does not come to the faint of heart. So let's begin. Firstly, complain about absolutely everything. Complain about absolutely everything in your life all the time, and even the good things in your life. If you look hard enough, you'll be able to create and construct a bad narrative of the underlying good things in your life, and under no circumstances ever take on responsibility, especially for your own actions. You cannot be held responsible for them. Why should you be held responsible for anything in the first place? And if you are held responsible for something, that means you are to blame if that something goes wrong. So it's best to avoid responsibility altogether. As you start to neglect your responsibilities and just to shun them completely, people will stop giving you responsibilities altogether, and that's exactly what we're aiming for. People will slowly stop to give you responsibility as they'll start to see you as unreliable, which is exactly what we want. We don't want anyone to rely on us. That takes effort and it's quite a burden. Number 2, take zero accountability for your own actions. When you inevitably have a responsibility, disregard it completely. Take no ownership or accountability of that responsibility or task. Structure your day in that you're only focused on small or menial tasks, but that you're busy enough to neglect the important things. This will ensure that you seem busy enough to not have time to actually work on the important tasks. When you inevitably feel bad or guilty for focusing on unimportant things and disregarding the important, resolve to not change anything about it next time. Resign yourself to the belief that you cannot change anything about your life, even if you tried. Therefore, you cannot take responsibility for your own action. It completes the cycle of you giving up control and not taking responsibility for your own actions. Number 3. Avoid people and expect the worst of them. People are always out to get you and everyone is against you. People only look after themselves and they don't care about others. This means that the only reason why people want to be friends with you or get close to you is to use you and exploit you in some way for their own personal gain. Whenever someone gives you a compliment or says something kind to you, immediately disregard it as a lie. Always assume the worst intentions in people. That way you won't be hurt when people eventually end up disappointing you or using you in some way. Because you always knew that that was going to happen eventually, so you were prepared for it. You are mentally preparing yourself for the inevitable when you assume that everyone is out to get you. You cannot be hurt when you never open yourself up to get close to people in the first place. So the best prize would be to avoid people altogether and to completely isolate yourself, because you're the only person that you can trust anyway. Tip number 4. Wake up whenever you want. Never have a good sleep schedule and never bother creating a good sleep schedule for yourself. A sleep schedule is limiting, so rather go to bed whenever you want. Stay up late watching series on repeat until you fall asleep. Really try and maximize the blue light exposure you get before you go to bed. You don't need to set an alarm clock for yourself because you don't really have any urgency in getting up early. So wake up whenever you want and stay in bed as long as you like. After all, as soon as you wake up, the bed feels the nicest that it ever does. So why not try and maximize the comfort and just stay in bed all day and try and maximize the time under the covers. When you eventually do wake up, set the tone for the day by immediately grabbing your phone and checking your emails or social media to really start the day off with distracting yourself. Tip number 5. Forsake everything for instant gratification. Why bother with long-term goals and rewards that take so long to pursue and achieve when you have so many avenues available to you for instant gratification at the tip of your fingers? You can easily get high boosts of dopamine with zero effort on your part. In fact, pursue pleasure in all its different areas and facets, because you only live once. So let's only focus on what gives us enjoyment in the moment, without regard for how this might affect our future in any way. There's so much stuff that we can pursue and do that it will take us a lifetime and we won't even make a dent in it. So we might as well start somewhere, because how can something that feels so good be bad for us? Step number 6. Never try new things. Trying new things means opening ourselves up to be judged by others, and we don't want that. Trying new things is uncomfortable and awkward in the beginning, and we generally also feel incompetent, so it's best to try and avoid those activities. In fact, anything that challenges our perfect little cocoon of comfort should be avoided completely. New things will already take our time away from the stuff we're already preoccupying ourselves with, so it's best to not try anything new. We are perfect as we are. We don't have to try anything new. Number 7. Never make any goals or dreams. Goals and dreams will only ever end up in despair, so why would we bother with that anyway? If you never have a dream or write down a goal to begin with, you can't feel disappointed in yourself for never having achieved it. So never try and improve yourself, because it will probably end up in disappointment. And besides, it's hard to change and grow. So why would we do that? So then never try and improve yourself or grow at all, because this will probably only end up in disappointment. So never try and improve yourself at all, because it will probably end up in disappointment. Goals and dreams require effort. Effort that can better be used maximizing our own misery. Goals and dreams, as we previously mentioned, require effort and long-term commitment. So rather focus on instant gratification. Coupled with that, start to develop an acute resentment for people that have actually achieved their goals and dreams. Start believing that the only way people could have achieved their dreams was through their parents' money or illegitimate means. We will use these statements and reasonings as excuses to feel better about ourselves for not trying and justifying our own actions. Avoid sunlight and exercise. Make sure that you stay indoors as much as possible and avoid any fresh air and outdoor activity. In fact, avoid anything natural and replace it with synthetic. Conserve your energy as much as possible and try to limit the amount of movement you make in any given day. Stay seated for most of the day, try not to move much, keep an assortment of snacks handy as well as fizzy drinks for a quick energy boost for those late evenings that you're having. Exercise is uncomfortable and it hurts your body, so why on earth would you do something that hurts you? So replace exercise with other activities like binging series or lying on the couch while playing video games, as well as obviously eating as much as possible. Number 8. Focus exclusively on what is outside of your control. Direct all your thoughts and attention to all the things in the world that you have absolutely no control over. Never focus on what is in your control and what you actually can do, because why do that? Instead, focus on the bad things of the world. Try and consume as much news and things that will frustrate you about the bad state of the world. This endless cycle will eventually make you feel good about yourself, because you'll start to develop a sense of superiority over all the bad things that are happening in the world. The sense of superiority is key in forming a good ego that will help you feel good about yourself within your own misery. Step number 9. Never try to better yourself at all. You are already perfect. Now that we have a strong ego by following the previous steps and we've decided not to pursue goals quite a long time ago, we might as well give up on all forms of personal improvement altogether. Why bother trying to better yourself when you actually don't believe that you have the power to change your current state? So naturally, the next step will be to create a victim mindset to help justify why you aren't doing anything to better yourself. You can refer back to the step where we listed down all the bad things that are happening in our life, and you can pick a few that you can really focus on to develop that victim mindset within yourself. Armed with all these steps, and if you make sure that you implement each and every one of these steps very carefully and work on a system of self-sabotaging yourself, you too can achieve peak misery. I trust that this video was helpful for you on your journey to become a miserable person. Thank you guys for watching. This is very different from the normal type of video that I usually do, where I try and show both parallels of the story of showing you the bad things to kind of run away from. And it's good to paint a picture of the good things to run towards, but it's also valuable to know what we try and run away from, because we can so easily slip into this mindset of misery, and we can so easily, as we saw now, kind of snowball ourselves into this pattern of self-sabotage. So I think it's just important to be aware of what are the key things to look out for to make sure that we don't fall into this kind of pit of despair of our own making. So let me know if you like this style of video, and then I'll be sure to make some more into the future. I did actually enjoy writing it a lot. But that's all for now, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.